Okay, the next topic in your book is magnetism and Gauss law. Fine. Now, before going to this topic, I want you to know there is Gauss's law, okay, for electrostatics as well as magnetism. Okay, so what is Gauss law for electrostatics that you are going to study in another 2 or 3 classes probably, right? So we have Gauss law for electrostatics as well as for magnetism. Okay, so there are few basic things what you need to understand before going to the Gauss law. Okay, so I'll just tell you those things in a very brief manner. Fine. Now, before going to this Gauss law, what is Gauss law? I'll tell you in a brief way. I'll tell you for electrostatics also. Now, if you understand that, then understanding Gauss law for magnetism is not that difficult. Okay. Now, Gauss law for electrostatics, let us try to see. Right. Now, before going to Gauss law, you need to understand something called as electric flux. Okay. Now, you need to understand what is an electric flux. Fine. Now, forget about electric now. Let us see what is flux basically. What is electric flux we'll see later. Now, first let us see about flux only, flux alone. Okay, flux in general. Okay, in physics. Okay, in physics, flux usually refers to rate of flow. Okay, the rate of flow of liquid. Okay, and in this case we are talking about electric field. Okay, so there is a slight confusion. What you need to clear is that liquid, when I talk about liquid, right, liquid flowing in a pipe, let us say, okay, for example, say this is the cross sectional area. Fine, this is the cross sectional area. Now a liquid is flowing with velocity v. Okay, liquid is flowing with velocity v meter per second, and its area, correct, its area is a. Okay, let us say a is the area. Then the liquid flux, okay, or you can say the rate of flow. Now, what do you mean by rate of flow? How much liquid is actually crossing that area in one unit time, okay, in 1 second, okay, in 1 second. Fine. So you can actually give it like in terms of volume, otherwise in terms of mass, right? Now, speaking in terms of volume, you can say so many meter cube per second. Okay, so that this itself means flux in a more general way. Okay, so here I am dealing with liquid flux, right? Now, coming to this flux here, right? Okay, now let me write, think in a more general way. Okay, if I want this liquid flux to be more, if I want to increase the liquid flux, what are the possibilities I have in my hand? Okay, it is, yeah, if you remember in 11th standard we have studied. Now come back to this diagram here. Okay, if you see this diagram, so what it means is in 1 second, okay, in 1 second you have a length of a cylinder, a length of a liquid. Okay, the length of the liquid in 1 second, correct. For example, take V as 2 meter per second. Okay, take V as 2 meter per second, right? Now in 1 second, 2 meter, what do you say, 2 meters of liquid cylinder. Okay, you have to imagine a cylinder. Okay, a cylindrical portion of the liquid, it has crossed this particular area, is it not? Okay, so the volume, how will you give? Base area into the length, correct, base area into the length, right? So liquid flux in general, so here you can define, so we must get it as meter cube per second. So what can be the how to define liquid flux? Now it is the speed, right? Liquid flux depends on the how fast the liquid is flowing. Okay, so we multiply it by V and the area A. Okay, now what are the possibilities of increasing this liquid flux? Okay, so you can either increase the velocity or you can increase the area. Okay, now say you have 2 pipes, okay, pipe number 1 and pipe number 2, and both of them are having the same diameter. Okay, now say this is pipe number 1 and this is pipe number 2, right? Now both of them are having the same diameter, same area of cross section, I mean to say. Okay, now here the water is flowing in this pipe at the rate with velocity 2 meter per second. Here it is flowing with 4 meter per second. Okay, in which one of these 2 pipes you will see more amount of liquid will be coming out? So obviously pipe number 2, correct? Correct. So one way is to increase the velocity. Fine. Now the other way is to increase the area. For example, again consider 2 pipes. Fine, pipe number 1 and pipe number 2 here. Okay, so say pipe number 1 is having an area A1. Okay, now it has a cross sectional area A2, right? As you can see, A2 is more than A1, correct? A2 is more than A1. Say the liquid flowing in both the pipes is same. I mean the velocity of the liquid, the speed of the liquid flowing in both the pipes is same, right? So here liquid is entering at 3 meter per second. Here also the liquid is entering at 3 meter per second, let us say, right? Now through which pipe do you see the rate of that is the volume of the liquid coming out is actually more? Obviously pipe number 2, is it not? Why? Because the cross sectional area is more, right? So coming back here, the flux, okay, the rate of flow of liquid, okay, the amount of liquid which is coming out of the cross section in 1 second, right, in 1 second is dependent on the velocity of the liquid as well as the area through which the liquid is actually flowing. Okay, so this is what we define for liquid flux. Now exactly the same on the same grounds we will define electric flux. Okay, now just like liquid, you don't see electric field lines going from one place to another place, is it not? Now what is electric field? How did we define electric field? For example, if you take an isolated positive charge, right? If you take an isolated positive charge, the electric field will be having a spherical symmetry, we'll say, correct? So usually we write arrow marks like this, correct? Arrow marks which is going away from the positive charge. What it means is, if you keep a unit positive charge there, it will go in the direction of the electric field. That is all it means. It doesn't mean electric field lines are actually going from one place to another place. The direction, it only shows you the force experienced by a unit positive charge if it was kept at that particular place. Okay, that is all. So yeah, now on the same grounds, can we define electric flux now? Yeah, it's easy. Now what we'll do is, let me write a neat diagram. Okay, I have a uniform electric field here. Okay, I have an uniform electric field here. Fine. Now let us try to understand flux, electric flux. Okay, so it's very similar to liquid flux, whatever we just saw, right? Now what I'll do is, to this electric field, okay, if I keep an area, okay, if I keep an area such that the area, okay, the plane, okay, or you can say the electric field is, you should assume the electric field is piercing. Remember, electric field will not flow. Okay, just assume that the electric field is piercing the area, okay, in a perpendicular fashion. Okay, so for example, you can take it something like this. So this is, oh my god, okay, yeah, this is a piece of paper, let us say. Okay, so this is the area, right? Now this area, electric field lines are actually flowing this way. Okay, electric field lines are actually going like this. Okay, so if they are going like this, you can say it is entering normally, right? Normally means the electric field lines are perpendicular to the plane of this area. Okay, so like that. Fine. Now yeah, if you consider that way, okay, if you consider that way, what we can write here is, one second, yeah. So in that case, for say the area is, okay, say the area is actually A, right? Now what we'll do is, as you all know, we used to define a vector called as area vector A, correct? Now then, okay, if you have this information, then the electric flux, okay, electric flux usually will define it by the symbol, electric flux will define it by the symbol phi, okay, phi. So that is actually equal to E dot A will give, okay, E dot A. Now there are few cases, there are few cases where you can actually see the electric flux varies, okay, the electric flux varies on the orientation of the area. For example, instead of keeping the area this way, okay, instead of keeping area, or you can say here the area vector, right, the area vector and the electric field vector, okay, so both are parallel. Now what happens if you keep the area in this way? Okay, so you can ask like that, for example like this. So in that case, what will be the electric flux through this? Say this is one more area vector, you can call it as, yeah, let it be this way. Now how to define electric flux in that case? Let us say, fine. Now again here this I want you to see an animation here, fine. So Yes, what you are saying is, as the area decreases, right, as the area decreases, the electric field lines which is passing through the area, the red area, see here only the green arrow is highlighted, correct, only that much electric field is passing, right. Now coming to the number of field lines, as I told you, see you can write as many field lines as you want, right. So I think that is actually being covered, fine. So if you take an isolated positive charge, right, if you take an isolated positive charge, so we'll write the electric field lines this way, correct, in a spherical symmetry. Now if you are really close, okay, see I can write as many lines as I want, okay. What matters is that the relative density, okay, relative density, fine. So if you keep a small area here, if you keep a small area, for example, if I keep a small area here, assume the electric field lines are passing through that area, okay. Now the same area, okay, the same area, I'll just take it and I'll keep it here, okay. Now what do you see, the number of field lines crossing here, it is actually 1 2 3 4, let us say. Now the number of field lines crossing here is actually 3, right. Now the relative strength, you have to see the relative strength, okay. Now if this area is kept very close to the charge, you are seeing 4 field lines crossing, okay. So I can write as many as you want, but if you keep the same area a little bit far, the number of field lines passing, if you keep it a little bit far, will actually reduce, okay. So this is one more way to understand the field strength, okay. You know, the more close you are to the charge, okay, the more close you are to the charge, stronger will be the electric field, right. So it is given by this relation, E is inversely proportional to R square, correct. Now the same way, fine. Now if you see here, they have shown around 9 lines are there, okay. So more green arrows you start seeing here, okay, more green arrows you start seeing here. Now more number of electric field lines are actually passing through that area, okay. That means more number of electric field lines, what it means actually, relative strength. Just now I said more number of electric field lines actually tells you the strength of the electric field, okay. It actually tells you the strength of the electric field, fine. Now here actually they are increasing the area, fine. If they are increasing the area, the amount of electric field lines which is passing through that area, it will become more, correct. So that actually gives you the idea of flux, okay, fine, right. Yeah, this animation, what they're doing is they are keeping the area constant, okay. If you can remember, if you can see here, the area is being kept constant, see the area is not varying, right, the area is same, but the distance between the lines, it is actually becoming more. So this is exactly what it means when you consider the field lines. So more crowded, if the field lines are crowded, the electric field strength is more, okay, electric field strength is more. If the lines are far apart, the electric field strength is less. That is what I meant earlier, all right, fine. So if you understand this, you will get to know the flux, and it is also dependent on one more factor, right. So what it is, if you observe, as you are tilting, right, so as you are tilting, see now only 3 lines are passing through that area, correct, only 3 lines are passing through that area. Now the if you bring it more and more closer to 90 degrees, okay, so if the plane, that is the red area, whatever you are saying, if the plane becomes parallel to the electric field, so obviously you won't get any electric flux, okay, because you don't have any electric field lines passing through that area, that is all, okay, fine. All right, so when you approach 90 degrees, when the plane is exactly perpendicular to the electric field, you will see maximum number of electric field lines are actually passing through it, okay, that's all, fine. So if you want, you can rewind the video and watch again, fine. All right, now coming back to this, now let us try to see the edge view, okay. So the same area, I'll the same diagram, I'll try to write it in edge view, okay. That means you are trying to see the edge, fine. Now let me rewrite the diagram. Yes, this is the electric field, okay. Now if you consider this area, the yellow one, okay, if you try to see its edge, right, so it looks like this. How many field lines are crossing to it relatively. Just let us try to understand this from this diagram. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are passing, right? So let me write like this. So this is that edge. Okay, imagine. So the area vector is this way. Fine, area vector A is this way. Now the one more area. Okay, now for one more area, now if you see the edge, how many field lines are crossing? So ignore these two. Okay, ignore the edge which is passing through the edge. So here 4 lines are crossing, let us say. Okay, so the area, if you keep this way, okay, so if you can see the length, okay, the actual length, otherwise the you can say consider this, this is a rectangular loop, right? So call this as L. Okay, so take this as length. Fine, so let this be the length. Now the length is same for both the loops, let us say. Okay, so dimensionally, if you try to measure the length of this rectangular loop, 2 loops I have, right? Yellow color loop and red color loop. The length is same. Okay, the 2 rectangular loops length is same because of the orientation. Okay, because of the orientation, you can see through that red loop only 4 lines are passing. Correct? Now the number of electric field lines which is passing through the red loop, okay, in this orientation is less compared to the number of field lines which is passing through the yellow loop, correct? Because yellow loop it is kept this way, right? Now what happens in the that is when I keep the red loop parallel, that is the plane of the red loop, okay, assume the plane of the red loop, it becomes perfectly parallel to the electric field. Okay, so here let us try to write the area vector. So this is the area vector A. Fine. Now the angle made by the area vector with the electric field. Okay, so call it as some theta here. Fine. Now the same area vector in this case, that is when the plane of the loop is parallel to the electric field, right? So this will be the area vector. Now here the angle will be 90 degrees. Okay, now what did we see? As I told you, when the plane is kept exactly parallel to the electric field, so you don't see any electric field which is piercing through that area, passing through that area. So that is why we will actually write it as electric flux is actually written as dot product of E and A. Okay, so what do we get here ultimately? E dot A, we'll write it as E A cos theta. Okay, fine. So just see here, if you consider the yellow loop, okay, so if you consider the yellow loop here, so for the yellow loop, and so the angle between E and A is 0, right? So it is simply written as EA cos 0, which is 1. Okay, now if you consider for this case, right, if you consider this case, what do we get? If you consider this case where the plane is you can say the plane is parallel to the that is the electric field is, it is planar, or you can say area vector is perpendicular to the electric field, right? So in that case, what do we get? Cos 90. So the flux passing through that area will be 0. Okay, now how to understand this in terms of the pipe means, say you have a pipe this way. Okay, see the same comparison you can do for a pipe. Now you have a pipe this way, let us say. Okay, now you have one more pipe here, okay, through which, or you can say it like this. So you have a very big pipe. Okay, say it is shooting water at a very high rate. Okay, it is shooting water at a very high rate. Fine. Now the water is actually coming this way. Fine. So the water is coming this way. Now what is the water which is entering into this pipe? What is the water which is entering into this pipe? Nothing, right? So there is no water which will enter. Why? Because the way you have kept the you can say the cross section, right? So pipe 1 is where the water is coming out. Pipe 2 is where the water has to be entered. You want to make the water enter into the pipe 2. If you keep it this way, do you think it will be easy? It will be easy to collect water? No. How you should keep? If you want to collect maximum water, so this pipe 2, it must be actually kept in this way, correct? So it must be kept this way, right? So this should be the orientation of pipe 2. Same thing here also. Okay, that's all. So this is about electric flux, right? So it took a very long time explaining electric flux. Anyways, fine. Yeah, so to definition wise, you can call electric flux as the number of field lines crossing a unit, number of field lines crossing a given area. Okay, crossing a given area. Fine. So it is defined as dot product of E and A. Okay, E is electric field vector, A is the area vector. Okay, fine. I hope you understood. If you have doubts, please leave a comment. Okay, now, yeah, having understood the electric flux, now let us come back. Let us consider Gauss law for electrostatics. Okay, let me do Gauss law in the next class.